Hi, I'm Jennifer Woodard, and this is AI on the Record. Today I'm talking with Richard Lander, director of Citywire, a UK-based media company that spent the past nearly 3 decades building something pretty rare, a trusted, financially stable business focused on the global wealth space, enabling the unique audience knowledge of players in a 90 trillion with a T, dollar industry. We'll talk about what happens when media companies stop competing with each other and start competing with the largest AI systems in the world, what trust means in today's media world, and how a secret sauce can help protect publishers from being dominated by technology. Let's get into it. Hi, Richard. Welcome. It's really good to have you here.
Thank you very much. Delighted to be here.
Thank you. So to start us off, just for those who might not know Citywire and yourself, could you just give us a sense of who you are, what you do, and who you serve?
Okay. So Citywire, we like to portray ourselves as being at the heart of the global wealth industry. So this is an industry that's, we reckon, is about $90 trillion. So this is wealth advisors, wealth managers, fund selectors, advisors around the world, Europe, the States, Middle East, Africa, and Asia. And we've been in this for 26 years. And the sort of bedrock of what we do is sort of great journalism. We probably have the biggest team covering this industry, about 60 or 70 journalists around the world. We do great events where we bring all these wealth people together with the asset management companies that want to sell them their investment funds. We have very strong relationships with these wealth folk because it's a relatively small audience. We have audience development people who get to know them, know what they do. We get a lot of data about them. You can't, for most of our sites, you've got to be registered, and to be registered, we've got to know who you work for, what you do, how many assets you control, what sort of stuff you're looking for. I joined Reuters in 1979, worked there for 7 years, worked on British newspapers, had a few side trips into TV and PR along the way. But when my very old friend and colleague Lawrence Lever started Citywire 26 years ago, he quite happily invited me to be there, and I've been there ever since in various roles. Right now, the most part of my life is developing our AI projects.
Amazing. So 26 years, you've been in journalism a long time, if I might say so. And you're leading AI efforts at a media business through a moment where the rules kind of seem to be changing really quickly. So I wanted to ask you just outright, how are you feeling about the role of media right now in a time when Gen AI is kind of suddenly everywhere?
That's a great question, and we are trying to take it head on. What can AI do for us that's positively? And I think we've come up with sort of a modus operandi of how we can make the most of it. We're also very conscious of what AI can't do for us or can take away from us. We know the LLMs would love to crawl upon all our data and our content. We don't particularly want that, and we've got our sort of safeguards in place to try and stop them doing that.
Yeah, speaking of that, there's a lot of talk and a lot of fear about how AI might undermine journalism. We've seen lawsuits. We've seen the New York Times taking on OpenAI, hearing lots of kind of pre-lamenting the demise of journalism. So I wanted to ask you, if you zoom out and you think about Citywire in this environment, do you see AI as a real threat to your business model, or is this kind of just like the next phase in a longer story of disruption?
It sounds complacent to say that we don't see it as a threat, and we're always alert because, maybe one day they will find the secret keys just to take all our content and put it out there. But as I said, we're doing our darndest to stop that happening. Where we think our strengths are is that we've built up this real core domain expertise in wealth management, which is trusted. People have been coming to us for years. So the people who read us in the core, what we call the core audience of wealth people, trust our news. Our commercial partners, who tend to be the asset management companies, trust us that we can give them the wherewithal to reach these people, and the people they want to reach to sell these products. So that puts us in, we think, pretty good stead. That doesn't change. It's, obviously we've got rivals trying to do the same thing as us. It's pretty hard for AI to replicate that.
Yeah, speaking about replication and kind of the defensibility of what you guys do, which is very niche, it's very special. One thing that I keep hearing from leaders kind of in the media space is that that trust that you mentioned is the new moat. It's that thing that can't be faked, it can't be scraped. But that kind of leaves the question, how do you actually capture the value of trust in a world where anyone or anything in this case can kind of repackage your own work?
Well, they can repackage it, but it's how they repackage it that is the sort of $64 million question. And we work with Miso, our technical partner, and we can talk about them, I'm sure, a little later. But their CEO, a really amazing guy called Lucky Gunnar Sakera, has this analogy that what we produce, or what a media company like us produce, is steak. It's really, it's prime USDA grade beef. And that derives from the content, because we have these great journalists and we do these great events, and this is all top quality meat. When what you get back from an LLM like ChatGPT or Claude is hamburger. It comes back from a mix of sources. Some of them might be great, some of them might be licensed, like the FT. Others you don't really know the quality. So if you were to try and get the answers that you might get from Citywire via a ChatGPT, it'll link to it'll give you the links to the sources, but then you've got to go and check them. If it's from the FT, great. If it's from who knows what, can you trust that source?
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of trust, of course, where you are, going to get that trust is from your own content. And yeah, I do want to talk about your technical partners, how you're approaching this. I understand that you probably have looked into maybe building your own model, or maybe just kind of fine tuning things on Citywire content. Not to join the AI race, but kind of own this, infrastructure, own your own lane more deeply. Could you tell me a little bit about that? What your approach is?
Yeah, that's really what we're doing with the aid of Miso. And we've got it on one of our smaller websites at the moment, but we're rolling it out to bigger ones in the fall. So what this involves is Miso build an LLM based purely on our content. So at the end of each story on this particular website, it comes up with here are some questions to ask Citywire. You can click on one of those, and then it will deliver the answer and the sources of that answer from all within Citywire. Or you can ask your own. You can write in your own question. So you'll know that the answers you get are Citywire quality. There's no pollution. There's no hallucination from other sources, and this is purely within our own sort of walled garden, if you like.
And what initially attracted you to this approach, both actually, building this sort of kind of infrastructure for yourself, and also kind of approaching it through a technical partner? What brought you to this?
Uh, as always, these things sort of depend on happenstance. I was at a media conference, FIP, in Cascais in Portugal last year. I went into the wrong room, and there was Lucky speaking about Miso and what it could do, and I just thought this could work really, really well. And they described what they're doing with various partners. Their big one has been O'Reilly Media, which is a source of massively technical books and other journals. And we thought, yeah, we could really do this. It sort of fits into our sort of worldview. So we started talking, and this got spun up really, really quickly. They're good people to work with. They get on with our tech people. They get on with our editorial people. So we've spun it up, as I say, on this small site, and now, well, two things are happening. One, we're rolling it out to our bigger, more international sites, and two, they are really improving the quality and depth uh, of what their models can do. So we're really excited about this, and it's sort of so it changes it just being from being a sort of open AI chat interface into more of a research partner based on our content and eventually our data.
That's great. And, I talked to a lot of leaders who are a little bit skeptical about integrating AI due to the risks. What do you think is risky, or did you find this a risky approach? Did you consider this when you were making this decision?
We bottomed it out from all angles. I mean, the most important thing is, do you have a technical partner you're happy with, who can work with and can deliver? And we've been going for 26 years, and we've dealt with a lot of very good technical partners who've delivered, and we've dealt with others who just didn't deliver. And that can be painful, both in terms of money and in terms of just management time being wasted. So that is the first thing. Miso is a small company; it's expanding rapidly. They're getting some bigger media partners, but their time management is really good. They deliver technically. They talk to the IT guys in the language they understand, and that's just going great. So I think that is the biggest risk is finding a partner you can trust, or it's a risk if you can't trust them.
Right. I see. Okay, so maybe a more basic question. It sounds like you guys are really kind of leveraging your strategic assets, and I wonder why you think that more media companies aren't treating their archives, their content as a strategic asset. It's almost like everyone's sitting kind of on a gold mine, but they're too busy to dig into it. What do you think about that?
Well, some gold mines are more valuable than others. If a company like ours, and there's a Citywire in every industry, whether it's chemical engineering, nursing, whatever, there is always a Citywire, and I think the independent media world is going to be made up of people like that. Why have other people not done this? Well, first of all, the first thing they think of is AI is scary and a threat to us, and in many ways it is. If on one level, people stealing content, on another level, Google not just moving the goalposts, but actually deconstructing them and taking them off and going home with them for their own ends. So last 6 months, massive drop-offs in traffic to companies that are dependent on Google referrals, which happily it's never been the case with us, that we've depended a lot on Google traffic. So that's it. Before you can think what is the potential for AI for us, you're probably, I think a lot of media top people are blinded by how is this going to kill us, or really take away our living. And then you get into questions like, do you license with these people? Do you do a deal with the devil? Do you fight them in the court like the New York Times? How do you put in security protocols so people don't steal your content? So there's a massive amount of brain ache and management time going into things like that, which leaves little time to think, well, what are the opportunities for AI? But there are a lot of Miso's got an expanding roster of clients, and I think there's a lot of companies who are now beginning to say, well, hold on, do we have the type of assets? Do we have the content? Do we have the data that we can mine with our own LLM? And we've got over the fear of the negative effects.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, because it sounds like you're not just playing defense, you're playing offense in this case. And I wanted to ask you then, beyond kind of what we've already discussed, when you look across your operations, is there an area where Gen AI has really, really helped? Has it made, your work faster or more efficient in any part of kind of the operations that you're currently running?
Uh, yes, I mean, I'm not the IT guy, but I know from our COO that it is massively speeding up software development and code, and that team is taking advantage of that. Are we using it elsewhere? We're beginning to. I mean, it's a great idea generator for certain people. We run a part of Citywire called Citywire Engage, which is creating content for commercial customers. It's a great place to start thinking about ideas. How can we help these people? Are the journalists using it? Not to a great extent, I don't think. They might use it for a better spell checker, a better, uh, uh, a better grammar checker, but only in the background. They might use it for preparing questions for when they go and interview people, but that's where we have human beings there who can edit copy, check copy before it goes out. So I don't think AI is going to replace those functions.
That's great and refreshing. So, speaking of humans and the importance of humans, a lot of people are talking about, as you know, expert agents and kind of fine tune vertical models. So, I'm just curious, what is something at Citywire that is the secret sauce that AI just can't touch?
Well, I think it is, it's the stuff we've invested in for the last 26 years. So it is the content, it is the events infrastructure where we have this audience of people we can invite to these events who are qualified, who are the people our commercial partners want to reach. And it is the data as well. We have a lot of proprietary data about what people are reading, and that has been built into certain commercial products. So could AI do that? They could do it in general, but not on the stuff that we generate ourselves.
Good to know. So, looks like there is a lot to be gained by implementing AI and implementing kind of your own model stack. Do you think that every media company should be thinking seriously about this as an investment, or is that kind of just a fantasy?
Uh, yeah, they should. I mean, obviously, it depends on the resources they've got. It depends crucially on the content you've got. If you've got an amazing recipe database, if you've got an amazing database of wine vintages, or you can tell I'm food obsessed here. But anything that is your data is in your wheelhouse. You probably can leverage that. It is really, really hard for more general publications. Are they producing unique content? Sports coverage. Yeah, I mean, obviously people have favorite writers, but in general, if they're covering a Formula One race, one reporter's as good as another. It's quite hard to sort of make the case that this is unique content that people can plunder. But I think the message is getting through. I think bigger organisations are now looking at doing this. To in the end, for everybody, it's all about getting the right eyeballs on there, reading more stories more of the time. That's the important goal for us.
Right. So I wanted to ask you to kind of look ahead a bit, and I wanted to just really kind of delve into this piece about traditional media in the age of Gen AI. What is one assumption in media that you think we need to let go of, like a sacred cow, now that we're in this Gen AI age?
I suppose it is that you cannot outsource your ability to attract audiences to a Google. And maybe this was the original sin that these general media companies committed 25, 30 years ago. Google was great. You could search, people would click through, you would get the advertising eyeballs, you'd get the CPMs, and this was great. And this worked for a long time for both large media companies and small media companies that didn't exist. Small sites that sold books, that sold watches, grew to be really, really big businesses. So, but what has happened now? Well, for both of these types of companies, is Google from time to time would simply change the algorithm, and people would see, you know, particularly small specialist websites. I'm not really talking media companies, but specialist retailers and so on, would see their traffic fall off a cliff. And now, since AI has come in, you've got this double whammy, if you like, that Google's AI summaries are, despite they'll deny this till they're blue in the face, but are delivering a lot less traffic to these companies.
Yeah. So you're a media man. If the roles were reversed, if you were actually running one of these huge AI companies right now, what would you be doing differently when it comes to dealing with media, with partnerships, with companies like yours?
Well, that assumes that they would employ someone who's like me, who's sort of hopefully a decent, honest human being, because they're investing so much money in the infrastructure. I mean, Google's what, $35 billion this year, and then you got everyone else doing it. So, I'm not sure you would get a return on that money. Well, they're not getting the return on the money yet, but I'm not sure how that works without just putting your own interests first. I'm sort of trying to be naive, or I am being naive in that I would say this. This is the presence of a sort of prospering media sector is really, really important for us all. So how can we work with them to make sure that these organisations still exist? They can afford to employ journalists, but I think we've come a long way from Google's "Do No Evil" motto, which was how they started out. I'm not going to libel Google and say that they are evil, but I'm not sure that is uppermost in their mind these days, or indeed Facebook.
Right. Speaking of doing no evil and kind of the benefits for everyone of the, prospering media industry, are you feeling more hopeful or concerned at this point about the future of media? And what is driving that feeling for you? What's tipping the scale?
I think in general, it's you've got a whole mix of things which are pretty grim. So one is obviously fake media, uh, fake videos. You've got AI driving down traffic, and that's cutting down the commercial base of these organisations. Clickbait headlines. It's not a great outlook, particularly for sort of public service media. So they're faced with a real problem of how do they attract audiences? Do they double down into TikTok and Instagram Reels? I don't know. I mean, I know this is not to damn the BBC, which I think is a brilliant organisation, but I went to an event recently and they were talking about how do we attract the unnews interested, and it's all about TikTok and stuff like that, which is fine as far as it goes. But they're doing that at the expense of serious journalism. They're cutting back on the number of senior journalists there, specialist foreign correspondents, and when that goes, their ability to cover the news, I think, for as a societal mission is quite jeopardized.
So does that mean you're more concerned than hopeful?
I would probably say yes. I mean, it's and what is great is companies like Miso have got, Um, I don't like using the word mission, but they are out to help media companies like that. Have the wherewithal to defend their ground, which is great. But they're just one small company. I mean, I'm not sure everyone. There are too many people out there with the sort of mission do that, and that worries me.
So what do we need to do? What do you think? And that'll be my final question for you. What do we need to do?
I don't know. I mean, you were presenting at this AI for Good conference, and there is this body of international organizations that is out there, and there are some good people aware of the. We haven't even got onto the existential dangers of AI and will it destroy us, and but please don't ask me that one because I've got no idea. So there are organisations like out there that seem to me to have a mission to be helpful rather than just act in a most self-interested way, and that's great. But of course, you are finding that those organisations, whether it's the UN or its daughter organisations, are under threat in terms of funding and so on. So that's going to be really tricky. I would try and bolster those, but I'm not sure that amongst the, we had a situation 25 years ago where Russia, the US, China would all talk to each other in a vaguely cooperative way, and now it's sort of knives out for everybody.
Okay, we'll end here. Thank you so much, Richard, for joining me. I really appreciate it, and thank you for your insights and your candor. Lovely to meet with you.
And you.
Thanks. So that's it for this episode of AI on the Record. Thanks so much to Richard Lander for the open and honest insights on the future of media in the age of AI. And if you found this conversation valuable, please share it with someone who thinks deeply about tech, trust, and the future of information. Until next time, I'm Jennifer Woodard. Thanks for joining us.